This is a Fakie backside big spin, and man, I wish I had them this smooth on lock. I don't, but I have learned a lot while working on them the last 6 months or so. First of all, what is it? A Fakie backside big spin starts by rolling Fakie, where your feet are in their regular riding position, but you are rolling in the opposite direction, sometimes considered to be rolling backwards. And the big spin consists of 2 parts, a 360-degree shove-it of the deck and a 180-degree backside body varial. If you're regular, both your body and the board will rotate in the clockwise direction, and if you're goofy, both your body and your board will rotate in the counterclockwise direction. So if you want Fakie backside big spins, work on these tricks and skills first. And I mean it, learn these tricks first and then use them as your warm-up before trying any Fakie backside big spins. I promise you, it'll get all the right muscles firing up, reinforce the movement in your mind, and get you more comfortable with the trick. So skill number 1, switch pushing. Being comfortable rolling switch or Fakie before you try this trick is imperative. It'll make all the difference in the world, so get comfortable and then move on to the following tricks. 1. The Fakie shove it. 2. The Fakie backside revert. 3. The backside body varial. And for this one, I challenge you to work on them in a very specific way. Make sure you are jumping straight up and try to hold your feet up as long as possible. Use your core and your hip flexors to give you an extra second of airtime. This was really important for me. And 4, hop to reverts. These are deceptively hard, but I did find it was a great core workout and could help when I needed to revert the rest of the trick like this. So stand with the board next to you. I like to push it and do this rolling. To me, I'm rolling Fakie in my mind while doing this. So turn and jump off of your front foot and bring that back foot down on the tail first, followed by your front foot to catch the body of the board. Notice how they are at different heights here. You want your dominant foot to come down on the tail first, catch with the front foot, and bring the nose around to revert back to your normal stance. All the power in this trick comes from winding up your shoulders and using your hips to bring the board back around. I like to do these just one after another. In the beginning, they can be very frustrating, but they are totally worth it. Also, you could try Fakie 360 shove-its. I've heard that these are harder, but I've never actually tried them myself, so I don't know. But let's say you put in all the time to learn these tricks and skills, now it's time to work up to the main event. How to practice the Fakie backside big spin. First, take a session or two and work on combining the Fakie shove-it with the backside revert. I did this over and over in the beginning because I really struggled to understand what my body and board had to be doing. And this combination helped clarify in my mind exactly what was happening. The direction that I had to push, the direction I had to turn, the direction that the board turned. It helped a lot. After you're really comfortable doing that, I would recommend warming up with the tricks I mentioned earlier. Do 1 Fakie shove-it to backside revert, then do a backside body varial, once again focusing on jumping straight up and lifting the feet up for that extra second, and then try a few Fakie backside big spins. And repeat. Fakie shove-it to backside revert, backside body varial, a few Fakie backside big spins. I found working on this trick in this order to be both intuitive and helpful. And also, every few tries, give it a hard yeet. Hard yeets can be more helpful than you might expect. For me, I'm often lacking strength when doing a trick. Sometimes I even think about it just too much and focus on the movement without any power. So committing to yeeting one with twice the strength I would normally use has helped a lot on more than one occasion. Now let's go over some tips for common problems I ran into. Tip 1, always follow through. No matter how you land, always try to follow through to drill into your mind that this is where the trick ends. We want the mind to associate the trick with this motion and direction. Tip 2, play with your foot positioning. I found that when my back foot was in the pocket, the board was more likely to flip over. I also noticed that my setups with looser trucks were more likely to flip or flipped much faster when using the pocket, as the sideways pinch of my trucks acted as a little bit of a spring to flip the board, so moving my foot to the center of the tail helped me avoid as many flips. As for my front foot, the positioning varied, but it mostly stayed around the center of the board. Tip 3. I'm not sure if this is the case for everyone, but popping the board caused a lot of problems for me. I was more likely to miss and or flip the board. You could see that the board would even come up and over my feet, making it hard to land back on the deck, unless I performed a massive jump. Now you definitely can pop the board for this trick, but I found that I didn't need to, and not popping it, at least for now, has given me more control. Tip 4. Do not jump or lean forward, as in over the tail, when scooping the shove-it. Out of all the problems, this is my Achilles heel. This is the problem that messes up most of my fakie backside big spin attempts. When scooping the shove-it, I am accidentally leaning forward or jumping towards the tail, and it just never works. You can clearly see that my shoulders are in front of my hips and the tail in these misses, whereas they are right above the board during my makes. So try to jump up as much as possible and not forward. Which leads into tip 5. Experiment with how you scoop. When I scooped in a normal pop shove-it direction, I was more likely to miss or land in front of the board, and I think this was connected to my leaning forward. I'd lean forward and scoop towards the nose, so my body would go forwards without the board. Instead, pushing straight back helped a lot for me, or even imagining that I'm scooping forwards. Even if I couldn't get my foot to actually scoop forward in practice, telling myself to scoop forward helped me control my scoop in a very bizarre way. It limited the direction that my foot scooped in. And this was probably mostly mental, so this might not work for you. Other factors are involved. The important thing is this: doing the same thing over and over again that doesn't work is worth switching up a few tries to see if something else works better, and continue to experiment with as you improve. Tip 6. Try to levitate. When it comes to rotating tricks like shove-its or kickflips, you have two main choices when your feet are coming down too fast. You either need to use more force to spin the board faster, or keep your feet up longer, jump higher. I mostly combat this problem by trying to use my core and hip flexors to hold my feet up just a moment longer. You can see here that there is a small difference in airtime, and that split second does make all the difference. And levitating does include bringing the back foot up. I typically don't get the back foot anywhere near how high my front foot goes, but I still need to consciously remember to bring the back foot up, because on the tries when I don't quite make it, I always fail. The back foot goes straight to the ground and I have no chance of landing the trick. So when you're levitating, sometimes all you need to do is focus on the back foot. Make sure the foot that's scooping the board is coming up and staying up long enough to land back on the board. Tip 7. If possible, roll faster. When it comes to fakie shove-it tricks, rolling faster also helps the board spin faster because you can work with your momentum instead of fighting against the lack of momentum. But don't worry, if you want to take it slow and figure it out for a while, do that. You do not have to land this trick on the first day or in the first week. Take it slow until you feel comfortable increasing the speed. There is no way that I would have committed to a full speed fakie backside big spin when I first started trying them 6 months ago. So don't worry, you have all the time you need to build up the speed that will help you. This is the thing, if going faster makes you too afraid to commit to your tries out of fear, don't worry about it. Work on the warm-up tricks, take 100 bad attempts to allow your body to get more used to the motion, get more used to committing, and then add the speed. It will help your consistency and make it easier, but you have time to get there. Tip 8, how to deal with under-rotating. And I don't mean catching the board at 270 degrees and pivoting to the full 360. I don't consider that under-rotated. Now, there are a lot of skaters who don't like to pivot this trick. They like to land at the full 360, which is great. I've done 1 or 2 by accident that way and would love to be able to do them on purpose one day as well, but I do love the pivot. Something about it is very satisfying, so I am in no rush to learn the non-pivot version yet. This is what I mean by under-rotating, and unfortunately, it can be caused by a ton of different things. You might need to simply put more strength into the shove it. You might need to put more strength into the body varial. I know this affects a lot of my tries. I constantly neglect this, and it obviously shows in a lot of my mistakes. I need to spin faster, which is why I started heavily focusing on practicing good body varials. Also, jumping higher might work for you to give the board more time to spin. Rolling faster might help by aiding the board to spin faster. Turning your head back to look in the direction you want to spin could help too. Your shoulders naturally want to follow your head, and your hips naturally want to follow your shoulders. So keeping this in mind can help. I know it's something that helps me for other backside tricks, but I always forget to use this tip here. Which is unfortunate because you can definitely tell that me staring at my feet is not helping. It is definitely limiting my body varial. It might also be a mental barrier or a current lack of skill. I know it was a lack of skill for me for a long time. Even now, I know my under-rotations are often caused by a lack of skill. I just need to keep building up my skills. Getting a good shove, getting a strong body varial. Thankfully, working on the warm-up tricks and yeeting it often helps me get through this. I just have to remember that it's going to be a long battle. And finally, you could try and use your front foot to assist with the shove it. I don't use my front foot for normal shoves, but I did find a lot of success using it here. It wasn't a huge assist, but a slight push forward with my front foot, 1, probably gave me a little more strength for the shove it, and 2, gave my hips a reason to rotate backside. I didn't have to shove it and then turn my hips afterwards because the front foot was already moving in the correct direction after helping with the shove it. So really, I think this helped me direct my hips a lot more than it helped to improve the shove it itself. I don't know if I'll keep using my front foot, but it did come in handy with a lot of tries, so we'll have to see if I still do it in a few years. Now, I'm not consistent with this trick. It's going to take 1,000 more lands to get there probably, but I'm feeling much better about them. I can get a handful when I work hard, and that's a great spot to go from. So good luck, friend. Hopefully something in here helps you with your fakie backside big spins.